All right, so let's get rocking and rolling. A bunch of you guys, and we did a great session with Dustin. I don't know, what was that, probably like 4 months ago, 3 months ago. And we were discussing how he sets up his YouTube in-stream ad strategy. And that was absolutely mind-blowing. He's done quite a few sessions as well on with different hosts on YouTube channels and podcasts. So he's been doing a great job of kind of teaching everybody how to do that. We got everybody last time. I told everybody you need to buy his book just out of gratitude and thankfulness for some of his great insights from us. So make sure you guys grab his, I think, what is it called? 6 weeks to Success or something, Dustin?
Yep, 6 weeks to real estate success on Amazon. It'll give you guys a more detailed breakdown of like how we do things from a video standpoint. But yeah, it's worked really well. I'm in the process of, I just moved brokerages last week. So moving 30 agents over is always a bit of a fiasco. But it's helped us expand. Now, for those of you that don't know how my business works, is like we have exclusive territories for our team members. So, Victoria, I can see your background here where you have the geometric thing. That's like a classic video studio. So, we have a similar background. We have an in-house video studio at our office. They film our templated direct response commercials, and then they come in once a month to the video studio and film their market update. So it's like Centerville homeowners, here's your market update in 60 seconds. And then you go through it. It's on video. And I think most agents, whether it's Patrick or Tom's, like pushing video, and then you might put it on social and it gets 300 views and you think, oh, this isn't really getting me business. This will get you business. It costs money because you've probably heard me say on previous videos, but it's not enough to have a unique selling proposition like having video or getting a certain amount of views for your clients' ads. You still have to sell it to the customer, meaning you have to pay money to put it in front of them to get a reaction. And my ad budget and what I recommend is a minimum of $1,000 a month. But because we have our in-house video studio, we've reduced the cost for the agents. Instead of them paying for bulk video content from a third-party videographer, we're removing that cost from them. We've dialed it down to less than $15 an edited video with a full-time VA that we have trained on our way.
Nice. That's
And
huge. This was
so
one of the big problems that I've been dealing with everybody is getting a good videographer, because your recommendation on, well, and let's roll back, Dustin. Before I go into that, let's talk about that in a minute. But can you just walk everybody through what that video framework is that you have for the in-stream YouTube ad, and what that recommendation was? And let's move from there, because I've got quite a few that are actually now implementing it, but I still have a bunch that really need to figure out how to get this done. So could you take us back through what your video strategy is, what the ones that you recommend? Because I thought that was genius.
it
And if you
started
want, you
with
can
just
share your screen too if you want.
Yeah,
You
it
can
started
take
with
that over.
just the commercial. So the
Right.
idea was a direct response commercial. I don't believe in brand building for the sake of brand building. Like brand building should come as a result of direct response. Like you run a direct response, meaning I'm putting this ad out, whether it's a postcard or a video, and I'm expecting somebody to take action, call, or go to my website. The brand building can come from that. Like we're not in the business of just like making people aware of who we are. We need people to call us. So I made this direct response commercial. It's basically a series of like small vignettes, and I'll put in the chat later if you haven't seen it. That's basically stacking unique selling proposition off a unique selling proposition, and it's filmed in my specific community in very recognizable spots. So anybody that lives in my town where my geographic farm is, they recognize those spots. So I ran that for about 8 months, 9 months, and I think I only got one sale from it. So I was thinking at $500 a month or $750 a month, this isn't really working. It may have been too early to deem that not working at 8 months, just like any other campaign. But then I was working on my book and I hired a videographer for $1,000 a month to do bulk video content. It wasn't until I did that and then I had a couple extra videos. It was like 8 to 10 videos for $1,000 a month that he was filming for me. I was just like, I had an extra couple slots of videos available. So I just thought, hey, why don't I just do a market update to the same place that I'm doing it? And as soon as I added that market update where it was actually giving information and being educational, that my commercial started working. People were actually calling me from the commercial and from the market update. And I said, okay, I need to think more about what my database needs. And if you Google in your market right now, if you Google what's the average age of a home seller, you're going to be surprised if you Google that it's 60 years old. When I got licensed in 2015, the average time somebody would stay in their home is 7 years. Now it's 11. And the average age of a seller is 60. So I'm typically running my direct response commercial, a market update video, and 7 steps to downsizing your home video. Those three. And then I'm always running a video testimonial from a client. So those 4 videos at between now that I've seen it working, I'm increasing my budget from 1,000, and then I added $500. It worked even better. Then I added another $500. So I'm at $2,000 myself, and it was working so well. I told my team, hey, you guys really need to do this. So they each have exclusive territories, like their own suburb city in Washington, D.C., that they're running the same videos. And because it's exclusive, meaning if I'm running these in Centerville, but I get somebody calls me that wants to list their home, Patrick is working Chantilly, it doesn't mean I have to give Patrick that listing. It just means that I'm not going to be running my ads in the same place that Patrick is. I want only him to be known for Chantilly. So the surprising thing about that exclusive territory was everybody has been very abundance mindset, and everybody is leaving their scripts in the iPad teleprompter. Everybody is sharing things. And every month we get on a Zoom and we share our YouTube ads, and we're showing which videos are working, which ones aren't working. And it's created this snowball effect of just everybody sharing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So that's the 4. So the commercial script with one of the other questions too I had was, what is the unique value proposition on that script? Because I think I know Jim Bishop and I were talking about that. He's on today. And make sure you guys, I would love for you guys to be also getting your questions in for Dustin on the topic of the video script. So I'm just opening up my chat right now. Keep an eye on that. But
well, I'll show them the commercial real quick, just so they can see that. I don't want to go through every.
With our HGTV style video,
Your home will be seen by a minimum of 100,000 potential buyers, because our cinematic drone shots are epic. So if they're buying in Centerville, they'll see your home.
no matter where they are.
No matter where they are.
No matter where they are.
Which means more showings.
More offers.
And ultimately more money in your pocket.
With our expert staging, your home goes from stage to sold.
And our catered and food truck open houses drive the bidding wars. That's why over 1,800 happy families have given us 5-star reviews.
Making us Centerville's #1 rated real estate team.
So if you want results like that, contact us today.
Call the Fox Homes team. Selling Centerville, one home at a time.
So you guys get the gist there. And the agents are using the same script, but just filming it in different places in their preferred city. So it's very easy for our videographer because he's not messing with the lines that much. And feel free to use this in your market as long as you're not in DC. The same kind of unique selling propositions, they're just stacked on top of each other. And what I've found, unless people are saying to you that it's annoying or they're seeing it too much, that's when you know that it's working. When people start coming up to you on the street, I would say within less than 3 months of you running this, people are going to come up to you on the street and say, oh my God, I see your videos all the time. Like people, restaurants, servers, the kids, even though we're targeting homeowners only, kids are often signed into their parents' YouTube account. So they're going to be served the ads, and the kids are going to come up to you on their bike and say, Fox Homes. So it really works.
Do you do, I think in the stack of the videos, I think you talked about also doing like a listing tour video. That's in the stack, right? So
so those are running. I just lost the Zoom. Hold on one second. Those are running all the time. So those act of proof of concept. So this is one my wife just did. So they did a little bit of like Parent Trap double
2 dishwashers, 2 ovens, 2 sinks, and 2 islands. It's double the entertaining and double the fun. The more, the merrier. 2 vanities, 2 shower heads, 2 cool.
So when we're running these
Nice.
when we're running these videos, hold on 1 second. Can you shut the door?
Fine.
Okay? When we're running these, like every single property, regardless of where it's at, this one just happens to be in Centerville, but even if I have a listing in Vienna or Fairfax, I'm still running that to my Centerville audience because it acts as proof of concept of what my commercial is describing, like the HGTV style video. So like each of these, I will typically run about $250, and that's going to get you about 10,000 views. Like this ad just started, so it's at 2,100 views. My commercial, it does not have a lot of views because I just had to change. I had to take my commercial down and change the end screen with the brokerage move. So I had to make sure it's compliant with my new brokerage. But I sent you guys the commercial itself, and then obviously the market update, and then to get the video testimonials for those of you that weren't here last time, we just had our kind of pumpkin patch client event. We had over 1,100 people there. And obviously those aren't all my clients, it's my team members' clients. But when they come in, we tell them like, hey, thank you so much. Who's the agent that invited you? Okay, we literally wouldn't be able to do this without you. Just for coming in, here's a raffle ticket. Thank you so much. Oh, and by the way, when you're down there and you get to the pavilion where all the raffle prizes are, you'll probably see our videographer. If you do a video review for Chelsea, we'll give you 3 more additional raffle tickets. And when they go down there and they see 20 raffle gifts with a PS5 and a big screen TV and Commanders tickets, which is not so good right now, they see all of those and the kids will literally make them do video testimonials. And you don't have to worry about how it looks because the more amateur it looks, the better it actually performs. If they look a little nervous, and obviously your videographer is going to edit these as best he can, but the more awkward they seem, the better they perform, I have found, because they just look more real.
Yeah. Love it. So you got the proof of concept going, and then you got the 4 videos. Is there any other educational videos that you like, or because I like how you did your analysis of the demographic of the sellers, and so that's obviously was a good decision on the 7 steps to downsize. But is there any other educational videos that you're doing or recommending to the group?
Yeah, we have 7 steps to a bidding war. We have hundreds of them on our YouTube page. The agents are constantly, they'll book the studio like once or twice a month and they'll come in and film. When they do their market update, they'll typically film other things. And we're constantly testing things. The other thing that we're doing is when they do their market update, they're then taking that video. We're obviously putting a QR code on every single video because when you're running YouTube ads, very few people are going to be clicking the button when they're watching TV. Like it's going to be on YouTube and YouTube TV, so all devices really, but when they're watching it on TV, which is going to be about 65% of the views, they're never with the remote control going to go to your website. So seeing the QR code up there really works. But when they film the video, say it's the market update, they film it, they send it to our VA to get it on YouTube. They send them the video back with the QR code in it for them to be running their ads with. When that happens, another one of our VAs, Eunice, she is our SEO blog person, and we're really into SEO Interactive. And you can look us up on SEMrush or Ahrefs and see the amount of organic traffic that we're getting. And it's because if you were to put a blog up every month for just yourself, you're going to be a little bit like, what am I doing this for? Because it's just 1 blog a month. But when you get a collection of people all like pooling their assets together. So when they get their market update, she's then using smart charts in the MLS and expanding it. My VA is writing a blog in their name, embedding their video into the blog. And then we're adding our Google review schema into the blog. So every one of our blogs looks like it has 1,840 5-star reviews. So if you Google like Washington, D.C. housing market, November 2024 or something, you'll see Zillow, somebody else, or Redfin, and then you'll see our website, Fox to Sell Faster. But underneath that, it'll have 1,833 or 40 reviews. And they think, the reader thinks that our blog has that many reviews, but it's really our Google business page. And you're probably thinking, well, I only have 25 reviews or 30 reviews. It's not going to be the same. It will, because nobody that you're writing your blog against has any reviews attached to their.
Right.
And to attach your reviews is a third-party thing called ElfSight. It's ELFSIGHT. And it's like really easy HTML code that you just throw in the bottom of the blog.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. I knew you were with Sierra, but I didn't know you were running an SEO strategy. Do you guys get any organic lead acquisition, you know what I mean, from that traffic?
Yeah, now at this point, we're actually getting more organic traffic leads than we are PPC leads. So my team,
Oh, really?
I'm glad none of them are on this. They don't realize that my budget for my PPC has gone down because my organic traffic has skyrocketed. So
Wow, that's great.
it sounds like I'm a terrible person by selling them back the organic traffic that they've. But we do have this leads on a 60-40 split for them. So it's 60% for them, 40 for us. So they're not going to beat that anywhere else. And they wouldn't be getting those leads if they were on their own anyways.
Just out of curiosity, before we go to any other, I have another question, but do you have a ratio of what your web traffic, site visitors to your new lead acquisition from the organic? Have you looked at that ratio at all?
I haven't, unfortunately. I will say the biggest weakness in my business is really like we have my wife, we have a bookkeeper, we have a P&L, we are running it like a business, but like taking enough time for even my wife and I to sit down and just analyze things is probably the biggest weakness of, okay, because if it's working, I'm like, let's just double down on it, let's spend more. But I'm not really taking enough time to really do that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I think it was
but
Joe
I can
Hayden.
show you guys. I can show you guys.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Our
Yeah, it's funny. I asked Joe Hayden, who I think is probably one of the top Sierra Interactive clients of theirs. He's ranking on page one, like underneath Zillow and Realtor.com.
Yeah, that's what we're doing on most of this stuff. Google Search Console will only go back 16 months. So August 7th, it was 11,000 impressions and 87 clicks to our website, to now it's like 22,182 clicks. So this is about going to double every 16 months. So you can imagine the economies of scale of doing this. And as our team grows, and that was one of the reasons why we switched brokerages, is we needed more people that were in DC proper, Maryland, Southern Virginia. Everybody is in the market now, is seeing our ads, and they're like calling us saying, hey, I want to do this. And I'm like, but you're seeing our ads, that your slot's already taken. But if you have any friends in DC.
Yeah, that's amazing. That leads me to another question that I had that I wanted to get some insights from you on, which is, what are you doing about that? What's that? It's that kind of VPN, like you're getting the people that are coming to your site and then you're able to get their information. My mastermind group just did a session with, I think what it was called, like global leads or something like that.
Lead form or lead post?
Lead post.
Yeah. Yeah. So
can you explain that real quick to everybody? So I want to wrap my head around that.
So most people don't realize that if somebody goes onto your site and your privacy policy, it's like when you go to a site and it says, do you accept these cookies? And everybody just says yes or just ignores. When you go to a website, the cookies that somebody has by going to your website, they are easily matched to data that's on other websites and can give you their name, address, and phone number. So everybody feels differently about, should you be calling these people? Should you be emailing these people? I don't feel like it's right to call them, but we are adding them to our email database. And that's how we have an 85,000 person email list now. So it's really up to you in terms of what you think is what's right and what's wrong, but it is legal.
Yeah, we were having that debate and this exact conversation. I think Randy Orr just put it in the chat. We were looking with this company, Pearl Driver, but what was the cost of the lead post, the service?
I will tell you, just to rewind a bit, my wife literally just canceled this, and it was a big growth of our email, but nobody we hadn't had anybody in a year of using it actually transact. So for us, it was like and we didn't really have anybody complaining either. We weren't getting any like, how are you get my information? We get that with HomeBot, but we don't get that with, we weren't getting that with this. It was just like, she was looking at the cost. It was like $150 a month, I think, for almost unlimited amount of people. And it's not really worth it for your site unless your site is getting a ton of organic traffic. If people are clicking to your, if you go to Google Search Console and you're not getting the kind of traffic that we're getting, it's definitely not worth it. Because you're going to get a lot of realtors information. And we would have that too. It's like 10% of our stuff and that was one of the reasons why we got rid of it. 10% of the people that were in there were just people checking us out because of my book, and we're just end up sharing everything with everybody.
So how many people did you guys add to are you doing actually, let me ask a different question.
I think probably 10 to 15,000. 10 to 15,000 people were added of our 85,000. Most of our people that we've added has been from our unique selling proposition that you guys see in the video of my commercial. We give sellers like you 100,000 views of their home. So that's like part of our listing presentation is the average agent's going to get you between 2 and 10,000 views of your home. Between Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor, we call that, of course, marketing. Of course, they're getting you that just by putting you in the MLS. We're going to get you 100,000 views just during the coming soon timeframe alone. And we were only allowed 21 days in our market. Now we're allowed infinite, and a lot of you guys may not be allowed any. But with most MLSs so worried about clear cooperation lawsuits that they're just saying you can market however you want with office exclusives. We do those ads with a combination. It's 75 to 80% are Facebook and Instagram views and like paid advertisements, and the rest are YouTube TV. So when you have that many views coming in, you're obviously going to get a ton of leads. So I'm running that for the team as part of their split. So they're not going to be able to run, they could if they took the time, but they're not going to be as disciplined to run the ads. So we run the ads, or my VA runs it for them now that I've taught them. But we run those ads every single week till it goes under contract. And then every week they get this report here. Let me just show you real quick.
Yeah, what's your seller report look like?
It's going to be better, but this is where we're at right now. So my VA sends them this email. It says, here's your Monday update. But we send it to them, and you'll notice that we write it in their name because we want the agent on the team to be providing it to their seller. We don't really know what's going on with this listing. So it basically has the saved shoppers on Zillow, how many days, the actual ad copy from our Facebook and Instagram ads, because we tell them a lot of people are going to promise you a lot of things when you meet with other agents, but it's very important to us that we actually deliver it to you, and we're going to send you a Monday update every single week showing you the ads, the stats from the ads. So this is still coming soon. They have 66 of the 100,000 views promised already. If they click here on this video or on this link, so once they hit show ad, if they watch more than 3 seconds of this video, which they will, it's their own house, they're now in the retargeting ad. So they can't avoid seeing their own ad. So if you want to talk about a relationship that's sticky with a seller, if they're seeing their own ad every single week, they're going to stick with you because they know exactly what's being done to sell their house. And if you go here, you can see, you go to
and
ad.
Your seller report, that's just like a Canva.
Correct.
You guys just,
yeah. It's just
that's
something
cool.
that we made.
Yeah, that's great.
And then we also have the video, and then we have the YouTube ad stats so far. This is very early. This one will probably have about 20,000 before it sells of just that one. But if you see here, you see each of our ads has retargeting ads. So if they watch 3 seconds of any of our videos, and we make sure every single one of our listings has a video, and not every listing is worthy of a video, but you can do a drone video. You can do anything as long as it's video. You can't retarget off of a static post, but you can retarget off of a video. So you're obviously going to set up a retargeting ad for anything that's been viewed more than 3 seconds. And I just set that. Most agents would do $1 a day. I'm doing like $5 a day because things don't last very long in our market. So I want them to see views on that. But when they see their Monday update and they see a retargeting ad and they're seeing their own retargeting ad, it's proof of concept for them too.
Yeah, big time. Questions in the chat? I think I saw something from Victoria.
Yeah, Victoria said, do you just have your contact info on the commercial or wait for them to contact you? So it has our phone number at the bottom, our website at the bottom, and then there's the QR code at the top. And then when you're running it on YouTube, it does have a URL if they're watching it on their phone or iPad or their computer, where they can go to our website. But each of our agents, and you can do this very easily on Sierra. I'll show you. And Sierra makes it like it's so customizable. So if I go to content here and I say, thinking of selling. Sorry. So all of these agents on our team have their own like section and city. If you go here to their actual site, you'll see their commercial embedded into this video. But when you're in this, you'll see Woodbridge / thinking of selling. But any page on Sierra, you can take this, because if somebody goes to your QR code and goes to this, most people are not going to fill this out, right? They're just not going to. So you can hover over this on the top left, hit this gear icon, and now you can make this a forced registration page that only goes to this agent. So I'm going to say YouTube ads so the agent knows that it's there. I'm going to say Amanda Macy. And then I can say, I'm going to name the campaign, her YouTube ads. And then when I go build tracking link, this is the link that I'm going to have in the QR code. And it's the link that I'm going to have as the destination URL if they click on the ad. So the QR code is going to take them here. So when they go here, you'll see if they scan the QR code, it immediately pops up with this. So they can't do anything until they sign in.
Nice.
It just forces them to register. And that's the idea, is like they're clicking the ad. And since that happened, that's doubled the ROI on these videos, because people were just going to them like intrigued, but then they weren't filling anything out. Now they're forced to. When they fill it out, every agent on our team is like, oh man, I just got a YouTube ad. Like they watched my commercial. They took the time to scan it. I'm calling these people immediately. And they're like, oh yeah, we're going to probably sell next year when our daughter goes to college. You just want to start those conversations early.
Nice.
Yeah, these are awareness ads on Facebook. There's no way you can get for traffic ads. There's no way that you can get those kind of views. If you ran a traffic ad for like $100 a week, you're going to get maybe 5,000 to 10,000 views. It's just not going to be enough views to meet our minimum required views.
Dustin, what's your thoughts and opinions about the home value Facebook ad strategy?
I think if you have somebody that's maniacally following up with them, then it's probably good. For me, I think that they were probably really good like 10, 12 years ago, and now they've lost their effectiveness. Once Zillow came out with their Zestimate, their Redfin, like people don't need to do that. So I'm not a huge fan of them. I'm not running them in my business.
Yeah, that's what I was curious. I have the same sentiment. I think your YouTube ad strategy makes way more sense versus running those leads. But people
those are a lot less expensive for sure. And you're going to get more contact information. But I don't want to be like, we were doing these for a long time. And I had my team set up where I was running these home valuation ads, and they were putting them in HomeBot. And then whenever they would raise their hand, or when they originally came in, we'd send them a packet in the mail, like a full packet. We'd call them, we'd do a bomb video. They would do the same thing whenever they'd raise their hand with HomeBot. And it was going nowhere. It was like, I felt bad, like getting my team to do this much work for really no result.
Yeah, I had the same experience. How many people do you guys have it? Jim has a question in there, but real quick, how many people do you have on HomeBot now? And are you still using it?
We are, but we might go to Fellow. I'm unsure right now because we don't have, for the same reasons that like the home valuation ads weren't working for us, the HomeBot stuff, we have a very low, if any, unsubscribe rate on it, but we're not getting a ton of business from it. I think we are. It's more than worth the ROI. The ROI is there, but it's not in our top 5 things of what we're getting business with right now, because we don't have the team, and this is my fault more as a leader, as I'm not doing a good job of. And I've tested this. When somebody the one thing that I don't like about HomeBot, and I love it, is I don't like that it sends you notification that this person's requesting a CMA when all they did was open the email. When you call them and it says requested a CMA, because our agents were doing bombs for them, and they said, hey, look, these people are saying they didn't request anything. So I started calling them myself and exploring, and I found the same thing. If they just look at it or update their bedroom or do anything, it says this person's requesting a CMA. That part I didn't like. Jim, yeah, I did test the call to actions buttons. The best one for if you're running a video on a specific property is the buy now button, even though they're not going to be able to buy it off of the YouTube ad, obviously. But that one split tests better than the other ones. For our commercials and our market updates and all of that, the start now button is what split tested the best. Versus learn more, it's done much better than we were running it as learn more for a long time before I split tested the different ones.
Yeah, Jim's running those YouTube ads right now with his son. They're doing a good job. Good. What other questions you guys have? Ding, ding, ding. I'm just looking at
Trying to see what else you asked me in the text.
Yeah, increasing Google reviews.
Yeah, so I'm proud to say that as far as I know, we're the #1 reviewed team in the entire country. And I'll try to give you guys the abridged version of like my big stupid aha it was beginning of COVID and nobody was going into each other's houses yet. And my dad came over to see that my Saint Bernard that you guys saw in that video, that's 200 pounds. This is when he was a puppy and he was like 20 pounds. But we still weren't going into each other's houses yet. My dad comes over and he says, he sees all these Amazon boxes and he's like, son, you're shopping too much. And I was like, Dad, this is literally how everyone shops. This is how you're going to have to shop. And I like to see and touch stuff. And I'm like, Dad, you also have an AOL email address. So I'm not going to like just judge. And by the way, I think my dad is still the last paid subscriber to AOL. My dad says he likes the way it's displayed, but bless his heart, he's a good man. But then a couple months later, I go to his house and I see a bunch of Amazon boxes. And I don't know why this was big aha for me, but he goes, yeah, I hate to say it, but you were right. It's so much easier. I just see who has the most reviews and I don't even think, I just purchase it. And I was like, oh my God, like obviously. And now when the average home seller is 60 plus and you have all these baby boomers in the review economy for the first time that are selling their homes, I was like, okay, how do I get a group of people together to understand that having 50 reviews or 100 reviews is no differentiation at all, even if they're all 5 stars, because there's 20 or 30 or 50 other agents in your market that has the same thing. The only way to win in that space is to win in that space. You have to be winning. It's the same way when you purchase things on Amazon. My idea was I incentivize the agents to get reviews. So they're given checks at meetings, and I only will give them the checks. They have to be at the meeting. So I won't mail them a check. And that's part of it. Is we start every meeting off, it's our main priority focus is reviews and service first. So when they get a review, sorry, this fucking thing. When they get a
I curse all the time, so it's totally fine.
no, it's just this ring thing. Even when I go do not disturb, it still goes off. What was I saying?
You're at the meeting, you're giving these guys the
Oh yeah,
checks.
so I hand the checks off. That's how we start every meeting off. We give $1,000 for every 25 reviews they get, and then I give them $2,500 dollars when they get to 50. They can only get that in a calendar year, and I'm trumpeting it like constantly. I'm always talking about it. So you can't, Google's cracking down. You're not going to be able to pay somebody to get fake reviews. You'll get put in review jail. And you'll get a banner on your site that says you're in review jail. I've seen it in the SEO space a lot. But anybody that knows, likes, and trusts you, even if it's a brand new agent, we tell people if you want to get on the Google calls, like Google local service ad calls, the best way for you to do this is to get reviews. So we have 6 people on our Google local service ad calls. And I knew that once I was winning, I would probably my calls would increase from 2 or 3 a week. So people will be like, I don't want to do Google local service ads. It's a waste of time. It's all renters. It's all this. It's all that. That's true until you're winning. When you're winning, or even when you're in second place, people are going to call you because you're the best. So we have 6 people on those calls every month, and they're basically team player. They're awarded for team players, like getting the most reviews, using preferred title, using preferred lending. And that's how we reward them for being the best team players. And that's how we've scaled really fast. We have people that have never done a transaction before come on our team and get 50 reviews in 2 weeks because they just want that check. And they basically have a script. They have a script that they say to somebody, and it's so funny. It's so matter of fact. It's, hey Jim, I just joined this new team, the Fox Homes team. I'm trying to build some credibility with them. Would you be so kind to like just say Dustin's my go-to person for all my real estate needs, just something general like that? And they're like, yeah, sure. And that's how we scaled. And it works.
Yeah, it's just there is no fancy script to this. It's just aggressively asking. Right.
Yeah, and I will say the best ROI for your business and least appreciated is your Google reviews. Like people hear that I'm giving that type of money out to my agents to get them, and I'm like, that is the best value for us, ROI. It's insane, the return on that. Next is, if you have a boilerplate, like for us, when I'm doing a settlement, they're naturally, unless it was a terrible transaction, they're naturally at the end, when you give them the closing gift or whatever, they're going to say, oh, Patrick, thank you so much. This really means a lot to us. And you're going to obviously tell them in person, hey, same way that you found me from reviews, it'd mean the world to me if you took the time. I'm going to send you an email when I get home that's just going to have a couple sites that you can leave me reviews. We tell them, if you're going to leave us a review on one place, please put it on Google. If you take the time to leave us a review on these 3 other links, if you'd be so kind to copy and paste that review on these 3 places, I'd love to send you a little bonus gift. I don't tell them what it is. I just say bonus gift. I'm not asking them for 5 stars. I'm not asking them to leave me a specific review. So I do that. But Nextdoor is going to be the pound for pound close second place to Google. Because so many of your local neighbors are on Nextdoors. If you haven't set up your Nextdoor business page, and just like the same videos that you're posting for a market update, just go on there every month and post those. You're not going to get really much of a reaction other than a couple likes. But when they start seeing their neighbors go on there to leave you a review, now we're like whatever the Nextdoor favorites or something, whatever like the award that Nextdoor gives. And you can literally be the recommended Nextdoor realtor with just getting a couple reviews there, because nobody's really getting reviews in that space, and all of your neighbors are on it.
That is super interesting. That's real good.
So the other reviews, I'm still getting them on Zillow, even though we're not like a Zillow team, because I just never know when that might come back around. So it's Google, Zillow, and Nextdoor, but Google and Nextdoor being my bigger priorities. But we're not Flex, and we don't spend any money with Zillow. And I don't hate on it. They've just never asked me to have a Flex team. So
Yelp.
Yelp, I have a
People,
love-hate relationship with Yelp because their algorithm is so like anybody that's leaving a first review ever, which most people don't leave reviews places, including Google, they just don't leave reviews. Yelp will it'll give you a notification that somebody left your review, but then when you go to your profile, you'll have 2 that are showing and you'll have 50 that are hidden that the public can't see because that's the only review they've ever left. So to them, it looks fake because they weren't going to your business to review you organically. They were doing it because you asked them. So I don't really focus on Yelp anymore. And I've advertised on Yelp before and I wasn't really happy with the return. Not with necessarily with the amount of leads. That was only part of it, but just they were mostly renters, not buyers and sellers. And I don't want to pay for a rental lead.
yep.
Yeah,
Cool.
Apple does team up with Yelp. And we'll pivot to whatever we have to do with right now. ChatGPT is only taking 3 to 5% of the search traffic, but they are also using Apple and Yelp reviews. If you ask ChatGPT, who's the best realtor in this city? Like, I'm not coming up. And I'm like, uh-oh, like this might not be good because my kids don't use Google for anything anymore. They use it for use ChatGPT for everything.
Yeah.
We have a sign in our office that says, don't ask me something that you can ChatGPT first, then do that first and then call me.
Yeah, I've been telling everybody to do the same thing. I think Randy Orr is the one that told me he started doing that. And then I poo-pooed it. And then I started doing it. Like every question, everything that I'm like, what does ChatGPT have to say? And the more I do it, I'm like, darn, this is good.
Even the video studio, like agents will call me constantly and say they're having a problem with this or having a problem with that, or somebody changed the camera settings. I'm like, you can literally just take a photo of the camera and just upload it and tell the problem and say, like, how do I fix this?
uh,
Like they'll call me and say this, and it's like this light right here, one of these big lights. They won't like the light settings. And I'm like, literally, I will, as like a slight dig, I will screenshot their question on ChatGPT and send it back to them as signaling to them, be resourceful. Because that's literally what I'm gonna do. I'm not like
yeah.
I'm not a videographer.
Yeah, we used to say GTS, Google that shit. And now it's ChatGPT version of that. Chat that shit.
My wife is
All
a
right,
little
good.
calmer than me. This is our job security, like these questions. I'm like, oh, I'm glad you feel that way. It just drives me crazy.
Cool. Guys, any other questions? And if not, we'll wrap up and but Dustin, man, I really appreciate you. One, Jim did say, yes, did you test targeting devices on YouTube TV and Google Ads?
I did, yeah, because I prefer them to be on TV because they just have a bigger impact. But for whatever reason, my Google Analytics will say 60% of my views are on TV. But if I target devices and only do TV, it ends up taking away like 75% of my views. So I don't really know where that disconnect is or if Google's punishing me when I take off. Because it basically will say tablet, phone, mobile, desktop, and TV are like the options there. I would just leave them all on.
Yeah, I agree. And then Victoria asked about the step-by-step for the YouTube in-stream ad. I know that I did that already I think we did that on our last session. Victoria, I can't get that, but have you done the step-by-step for some of your other presentations that are on the web?
So
You've got a couple
Victoria,
sessions. Go
yeah,
ahead.
Victoria, if you search my name, Dustin Fox, on YouTube and Sierra Interactive, I did
Right.
one that was like a longer tutorial there for them that's step by step. It's also in my book. And there's a lot of stuff in my book. Everything you hear about client events from open houses, and there's so much stuff that I could go on and on about the way we do business. And you guys saw from the video, from the food truck open houses to we cater every single one and like how we do that. There's so many things. I'm always looking at things as not only am I trying to stack unique selling propositions to build a moat around my business, so other people competing us in a listing presentation can't win, but it has surprisingly done the same thing for attracting agents to us and them not wanting to leave because they're like, I'm not going to get this from anybody else. So I definitely advise. So I advise to overbid the stream ad. Is that still your opinion? Yes. So if it tells you, I originally said to do, in some of the videos, I said to do 0.05, whatever it recommended. Now I'm recommending that you double it because these views are so inexpensive that you want to get as many views as you can for your budget, even if you're overpaying for them. Because imagine you're like an HVAC person that's running these ads. And if you show up, a service call might be worth $300 for you, $400, unless you're replacing the entire unit. If somebody calls you from your ad, it's worth like potentially 10, 20. It's a lot of money. My food truck budget is anywhere from $800 to $1,400. If you Google food trucks on Facebook in whatever city you live in, there's probably a Facebook group on food trucks that you should go on to. And what I like to do is I say, I have a food truck on December 8th. I'm looking for a food truck December 8th from 2 to 4 p.m. or 12 to 2, like a lunchtime. I say, I'm going to do a minimum of $800. If you guys could please comment and then DM me a photo of your truck. And you don't want some jalopy showing up. Like you'll get a lot of responses, but half of them are somebody that just started their first food truck and the graphics look poor. And you just don't want somebody like towing a hitch that just looks terrible. The food quality, you're going to be associated with everything, the listing and the food that you provide. But if you talk about getting people to sign in, the food truck's instructed to say, when people come up, like we send a letter out for the food truck. That's in my book also, but we send that out to the neighborhood. When they come in and they always try to go straight to the food truck to get the food. And the food truck driver says, hey, you got to go in, see the house. And when they come in, I do my little introduction. I ask them to sign in. I said, all you need to do is sign in here and just, you can hand them this. It's just like a raffle ticket to get your free food. They'll be polite and walk around the house a little bit, but you just need to get FaceTime in front of them. And you need to have them see you, their neighbors, selling the house, not trying to get them to become a buyer. Like you're just selling the home. And that's what I focus on is I'm not like, do you have an agent or do you have this? I don't care about any of that stuff. And I would convert more if I did. But all I focus on is selling the home. And the neighbors start to pick up on that when they start seeing you repeatedly selling the home. They know what your intention is.
Yeah, that's good. All right, guys. We are up to the hour, and then there's some Google review stuff in there. But Dustin, you're the man. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for all of you done with the group. And then,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, your Sierra. Yeah, it was the Dustin Fox Sierra Interactive YouTube video. So if you guys just go to the Sierra Interactive YouTube channel, you'll find it. And the title was Micro Famous in 3 months or something like that. Really good video. I sent that out to everybody as well. Have an awesome one. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you.
See
Yeah,
ya.
no problem.